What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video I would like to share with you how the earth is shifting from a 3D reality into a 5D reality, that of the new earth. And I would also like to share with you 3 ways that can help you with this transition. So I'm going to start off talking about an amazing lady known as Dolores Canon. Now, unfortunately, she passed away a little while ago, but through her lifetime, she was a hypnotherapist, and she devised something called QHHT, which is Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy. And what she learned to do, she would put her clients in this deep level of trance, usually in that theta and delta brainwaves. She would then ask something called their higher self to come through. Now, if you want to learn a bit more about what your higher self is, I recommend watching my video on that. But we all have a higher self, and this energy would come into their body and start to speak through them. Now, she did thousands and thousands of clients all around the world, and all of the information that she has collected, now she's written 18 books, and all of the information in these books come from her clients and not her. So people would ask questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And she would start to see this correlation. Oh, I'm here for the shift in consciousness. I'm here to raise my vibration. I'm here to help with the planetary shift. I did one of these myself when I first went through my spiritual awakening in the beginning of 2018. I went to go and see a Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy practitioner, and I was put into this deep level of trance for 2 hours. I had a list of questions of things that I wanted answered, and I remember laying on the bed and feeling this very strong energy come into my body and start to speak through me. I had no idea of the things that I was saying, but I remember seeing this internal imagery in my mind, and I had my questions answered, and it was all recorded, and much of the stuff that was coming through me was also very similar to other people as well. Now, there's something called the raw material. Now, the raw material is probably the most famous channeling. So a channeling is, again, when energy comes into the body and speaks, or uses the person's body as a vehicle in which to speak. And they've written X amount of books. I think it was about 6 or 7 books. And within these books, it talks about something called the harvest, which basically means every 25,000 years is the collective have an opportunity to shift their consciousness into a higher state. It also claims that every 75,000 years is the planet itself has an opportunity to shift into this higher state of consciousness. A yogic master named Sri Yukteswar, who was also the master of Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the book Autobiography of a Yogi, throughout his time he devised this diagram. And this diagram shows that as our solar system is maneuvering through space towards the center of our galaxy, there are cycles that are taking place. And this diagram shows a cycle of 25,920 years. So we have been taught that our sun's in one position and that the planets move around it through that of gravitational pull. I talk about this in my video, that of the Great Awakening, how it's actually maneuvering through space and towards the center of our galaxy. If we have this 25,920 years and we split it into 2 phases, that of 12,960 years, there's an ascending stage and a descending stage. So the descending stage is where we as a collective start to go down the dimensional levels. In other words, we lower our consciousness, we start to build more trauma within our body, we disconnect from our higher selves, and we sink deeper and deeper into the illusion of separation, that of the dark ages. Now, ascension is when we start to make our way up through the dimensional levels. We start to raise our consciousness again. We go through this process of deep healing and releasing this stuff, and we start to connect to these higher aspects of ourselves, and we're able to hold more and more light within the body. Sri Yukteswar also explains that as we go through these cycles of 25,920 years, because we're on this process of making our way towards the center of the galaxy, each time we descend less, and each time we ascend more. In the time of Atlantis, it was believed that Atlantis sank 9,600 BC. So it was at the pinpoint of our ascension stage. And then it sank and we started to go through the dark ages and we forgot all about this stuff. We're now in the process of ascending again, where we're making our way up through the dimensional levels. We're starting to raise our consciousness again, and we're going through this process of healing. Now, in one of Dolores Canon's books, it's called The 3 Waves of Volunteers. And in that book, it explains how the Earth has been trying to have this big planetary shift for quite a bit of time, but there's been too much density, too much heaviness on the planet for it to do so. And things like the world wars, the atomic bombs going off, it was just too heavy and dense on this planet. So the call was put out for beings of a higher state of consciousness, not better or worse. We're all capable, I believe, of attaining these higher states because we're all connected on that level. But beings from higher states of awareness will come and incarnate onto this planet and help raise the vibration, help shift the frequency. And you look at movements like that of the hippie movement in the 1960s, the peace, the one love, the whole idea of connectedness and trying to raise the vibration. Now, I'm going to share with you that of the zodiac signs because this will kind of fit together quite nicely with what I'm saying. So most people are aware that each month represents a zodiac sign, but they actually exist on a much larger scale. So as our solar system is making its way through space and the planets are going around the sun, we'll take a day of the year, let's say the 1st of May. Okay, on the 1st of May, the sun will rise in a certain position in the sky. Now, 365 days later, the sun will rise in exactly the same position. However, every 72 years the sun will shift by 1 degree. So if we have the 1st of May and the sun rises, 72 years later, on the 1st of May, the sun will shift by 1 degree. So it takes a long time to start seeing this shift within the sun. However, you then take that 72, you times it by 365, you get that magical cycle of 25,920 years. We've got 12 zodiac signs, so we are going to divide that 25,920 years by that of 12, and we get 2,160 years. So each zodiac sign on this larger scale is 2,160 years. Now, a lot of ancient prophecies, that of the Mayan calendar, they talk about how 2011 and 2012 was this magical time, this big shift into that of the golden age. Now, what it was actually the end of the cycle of 2,160 years of the age of Pisces and the beginning of the 2,160 years of the age of Aquarius. And because we're going through the dimensional levels, we're going through this process of healing, it's all about that unification and unity consciousness. And that's when we start to see an increase in things like holistic medicine, meditation, and yoga and stuff like that. So I would like to share with you 3 ways that can help you with this transition. Now, these are just my opinions, but the first thing that you can do is you can have a daily spiritual practice, something like Qigong, yoga, meditation, anything that helps you to tune more into your body. Because as you go through this process of releasing that heaviness and density, you need to be more within your body in order to do this. The second thing that you can do is you can give less of your attention to any fear-driven outlets. So if we're trying to release this heaviness and density that is within our bodies, if we're constantly watching things like that of the media, and it's dripping that fear within ourselves, we're not having an opportunity to release it. And the more of what we watch, the more of what we become. So we want to go through this process of shifting our awareness into things that we would prefer to experience. Now, the earth itself has her own energetic body. It's exactly the same as ours. Okay, we don't look the same, but energetically we are exactly the same. And she is shifting into more of a heart-based reality. And we will not be able to perceive of these changes if we do not have the same vibration within our body. So it's important to let go of these things that no longer serve us, because a 5D consciousness, that of the new earth, is basically that of abundance, joy, peace, prosperity. And you won't be able to find ways of creating this within your life if you're holding more and more of that density within yourself. Now, the third thing that you can do is you can realize that you are a creator and not a victim. A 3D consciousness is more of that of manipulation. Things are happening to me, it's their fault, I'm blaming them, my circumstances aren't great, and it's blaming things outside of you. A creator is realizing, and this is something that I came to realize when I came across my spiritual journey, was that everything outside of you is simply reflecting what is happening within you. So instead of blaming what's out there, you go within yourself, you release these parts of yourself, these unhealed parts that are maybe bringing things into your life that you don't want to experience, and you go through a process of releasing them and healing them. And as your cup becomes more empty from this stuff, you can then fill it full of more stuff that you would prefer to experience, and learning about things like that of the law of attraction, and it allows you to become more of a creator of your life. So thank you for watching. I will put a free meditation below that can help you with the process of connecting to your heart center if you want to give it a go. Apart from that, peace and take care.